Good morning and welcome to Ewetopia. It's a miserable rainy day today, so we're gonna run across the yard so I don't get wet here. And we'll step into the barn and see what's happening in here today. Let me just turn the light on so they're all coming over to the... Hey, Jerry. Hi, Elsie. Where's Jezebel? Is she hiding behind you today? So I'm going to do a little video update. I got a private message from one of our viewers, Michael, who's a semi-retired veterinarian. Oh, Jerry, that was the quickest ever. And I was talking yesterday about sheep being ruminants and chewing their cuds and stuff like that, and that they're ungulates. And all that is true, but what Michael pointed out to me was that not all ungulates are ruminants. So in order to chew a cud, you do have to be a ruminant, and an ungulate is any animal that has hooves. So a horse also would be considered an ungulate, but it does not chew its cud. So that's something learned, and to be honest, I love to learn new stuff. I understand why he wrote me personally with that, because sometimes when someone gives you a comment, it can come across as a criticism, especially on social media, because you can't get the feel of it and stuff like that. And with delicate sensibilities and stuff, things can be taken the wrong way. But I totally didn't have any hard feelings or bad feelings about that. If I'm giving misinformation or not giving full information, I welcome feedback and corrections, because who wants to come across like an idiot? So I knew sheep were ungulates, but I really didn't realize that non-ruminants were also ungulates. So good thing, I'll never forget that, and I appreciate comments from anybody. Nobody likes to be criticized, but I don't consider that a criticism. I consider that just updating my knowledge base, which is always, always, always a bonus. Okay, well, I guess Jezebel's not going to hop around today, because normally Arnie has come in here before me and fed these guys. So I'm the center of attention then with the lambs. But today, because these two lambs are getting older, they're with Mom up at the feeder, nibbling with her on some of the grain. You see, they're both there. And they're at the age, and that's why even with bottle babies, I do like to keep the lambs with the moms, because I feel that being sheep, they're followers, and I feel they mimic the mothers and are learning off them. And it's something that they will do when they're weaned off and in a special weanling group, but I feel they just learn it quicker and better if they're with Mom. And as you can see, Jezebel, I just checked her birth date, and she's just over a month old now. And I am going to try get a scale over here once the ground solidifies. It's pure muck right now. And see what she weighs, because when I caught her the other day, boy, she's a chunky thing. She was heavy. But she's a nice lamb. And you see, Jerry's jumping on top of me, because he feels like he wants more milk. But he had enough. And like I say, he's also nursing off Mommy. So he's double dipping. Aren't you, Jerry? You're just double dipping. You're really not that hungry. You're not. Go eat the food with your sister and Mom. Oh, boys, they're always spoiled. So our accountant's coming over today, so I probably won't be able to do much on the video scene. So we'll just take you around the barns and do chores. Here's Ferdinand and Fallon. looking in to see what's happening in the barn, because you know these guys are outside. Hi boys, how you doing? Elton's busy eating, he doesn't care, but it's a miserable wet day. We're not going to let the sheep out today, so we left the gate closed. The reason we do that is because when they're walking in the fields when it's conditions like this, they're, for one thing, they're making a mess of the fields, turning it to mud, and another thing is that mud gets stuck between their toes and can lead to scald, and don't want that. So just while it's raining today, these guys have a comfortable area to rest. They can walk around the yard, eat food served up to them. They have their salt and mineral and clean water here. And tomorrow I think it's not supposed to be raining, so we'll open the gate up again. And now we're heading to the back of the barn. Usually Arnie comes out half an hour before me, but he came out right before me, so everybody's just been fed their grain. And it's quiet in here, except, oh, I wondered why the sheep were all here and Katie was in there. Arnie's laying in with the sheep. Yes. You should have gotten up and said peekaboo.
Oh, you're a big fella, aren't you?
Ben, don't. That's Jethro.
Yeah.
Aw, Jethro. You're such a sweetheart.
New straw today. I'm gonna try to clean that pen out today.
Yeah, to be honest, that pen does need cleaning out.
This is a real big ram. Actually, probably gonna get a little too big.
Yeah, I don't know. He's from Snappy. I don't know why he's so big. Yeah. So we're keeping Jethro for ourselves. He's not for sale. The reason we're keeping Jethro, and people always say this and half the time it's not true, but in this case it is true. He's from Snappy, one of our favorite rams, and Snappy is getting pretty old right now. And so we decided to, when we really like a ram, and most of the rams we have here we do like, so when they get older, we tend to keep one of their sons around just so we don't lose that bloodline. And Jethro here, he's become a pet. He's extremely long and really well built, just like his dad. So we kept him. And then in here, we also have 2 ram lambs from Dexter. And Dexter broke his leg this fall, and we had to have him put down, and he also was one of our old standbys. Like he came from our original flock sire Woody, and that's also a bloodline we hate to lose. So I've got 2 Dexter rams here, and one of them we're gonna keep back for them ourselves, again, just so we don't lose him. And also we got a Force in here, so we're keeping 3. Force also died this year. He was a middle-aged ram, but he got urinary calculi, which are stones, and he, yeah, it's a terrible thing that rams can get, and he died. So I think I've got 2 Forces in here that are potentials for us keeping. So we're keeping a Snappy, a Dexter, and a Force. Gladiator and General and all those guys, they're still around, so we don't have to keep any of their lambs back. But when they get up in age, we'll do the same thing.
I thought we were keeping Jethro because of the clampet line.
That's right, because we have Jethro, and the Force one is Jed.
Clampet line, honey.
Jed.
Clampets.
Jed Clampett.
Honestly,
and Jethro.
Cartoons when you were a kid?
It was Jed Clampett. You're not listening to me. Jed Clampett and Jethro Bodine. For all those people that are old enough to know who those characters actually are. because we know that. And I was telling one of our viewers the closing of the gate at the end of our segment is based on the Friendly Giant kids show way back in the 60s. So that tells you how old we are. And anyway, so that's the story on these boys. And we got some boys over here still too. Still looking for homes. A lot of people prefer to buy yearlings, so we always have a bunch of yearlings available. These guys they're 10 months old now, so they're getting up there, and these are the ones that we selected as being our best of the year. So we still have some available. Also, nowadays, with people breeding at all times of the year and using multiple rams at a time, like we use one ram per breeding group, but a lot of people throw in a couple of rams. So oftentimes people will come in here and buy 10 rams all at once. So we don't like to turn people away. We always like to have someone that they can choose. Hi, buddy. You guys are nice. You guys are really nice. Do you want to come over and say hello? Want to come over and say hello? Come on in. See, Arnie thinks he's the sheep whisperer, but when he's around, they kind of stand back a little more. Hey, buddies. Arnie's. This is a shorter barn, so the bale gets pushed to the end, and then there's enough left over that he rolls it out for the next day. Someone also mentioned that rolling these bales out was difficult, and when you start rolling them out it can be difficult, especially if it's a wetter bale, but once the roll gets going it's fine. See how dark it is in here? This is morning, and it's not early morning like 4 in the morning. It's like, I don't know, almost 9:30 in the morning. Someone asked about our mineral feeders and showing more detail on them. So Arnie has that new one made. And when we get around to installing it, I'll do a little bit on that, on how it was made and how you can see how we install them and stuff like that for anyone interested in that. I carry a scrubby in my pocket to clean out the drinkers. But I find if you just scoop them out every day and have the scrubby with you, they basically require not too much, so I don't even have to scrub this out today. It's pretty clean. I don't like the straw and stuff sitting in there, the hay, because that's what causes it to get mucky and scungy, and I don't think it's healthy for a sheep to be drinking dirty water. So that's why I check them. And some days I think, why do I bother checking every day? And inevitably on those days I'll find a mouse or a bird or something that's drowned in there, so it's contaminating the water and they won't drink for the entire day. Or a bird sat on the edge and pooped in there, which also isn't good. So yeah, it's worth the peek into the feeder to the drinker to make sure it's clean. This barn is completely done now. So we fed there's about 60 sheep in this barn and about 40 on the other side, plus Elsie and her lambs. And now we're moving on to the coveralls. And back where the rams are, see that little core in the middle? They can reach it, but not fully, and it's irritating me. So I'm gonna go in here and just loosen that so they can reach it a lot better. Hey buddies! How y'all doing today? How you doing? You're not too friendly, but you are, Herman. You are. Hi, Herman. Oh, Ferdinand, what have you been rubbing your nose on, eh? Oh, and Felon. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing, buddy? Okay, let's get this loose for you. Hey, Gaston, Gimli. now they're all going to come over because it's been sitting here, but now they know I'm loosening it all off for them. I'm going to pause this because it's really hard to do one-handed. So I just loosened it up a little bit. Now they're all over eating it. They don't have to tug on it, especially with the water was getting on the front a little bit, which makes it even harder to pull out, kind of sticky. So they can eat better now. Now I can finally get onto the coveralls. Well, as you can see and probably hear, it's just pouring today and it's just above the freezing mark. All our sheep are indoors and comfortable and eating, and I truly am happy for these coverall buildings because it's like being outdoors without having to suffer in terrible weather conditions. I can't imagine these poor guys sitting out in the soaking wet. Losing lambs is not something we like. And as you can see this year, knock on wood, we've had no lamb losses. And I do attribute that to being in semi-confinement. These guys are allowed out, but if conditions are bad, they can come in. But she is pouring today. Since we don't have any big jobs to do today, figured the lambs could do with a little bit more straw on a day like today. They like to snuggle up in it. It's not that bad in here, but it's just a little more cozy on a nasty day. It's like curling up with a blanket. So the process is just like with the hay. Just roll her out. Straw rolls out a little bit easier than the hay in general. It's a lighter product, but it's still heavy. But once you get the roll going, it's quite smooth. And we just do it in rows, and the sheep running through it just spreads it out. So unless it comes out in a huge clump, you don't have to fork it out or anything like that. I swear bedding day is the favorite day of lambs and ewes and rams. Like all animals I think want to be clean. And how can you tell happy sheep? They're frisky, they're bouncy, they're bright-eyed. They just have that look of vigor about them. Healthy and happy. Oh, now the lambs in the creep pen have discovered that something's going on here. So now that's the tough decision whether feed is more important or running in the bedding. But I can see that, yeah, pretty well everyone's cleared out of the creep area now. They can always go back to that, but the fresh straw is only fresh for so long, so I guess they all wanted to take part. Hello. 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 You're really nice. Oh, you're pretty. Oh, you're pretty girl. Oh, yeah, you're a pretty girl. Yes, she is. That's a good girl. She's the big girl in this group. She's number 3. She is third born. And her sister's the one with the little black nose. But she's the biggest lamb in here because she's got a quarter Suffolk in her. And she's a bruiser. And we're not supposed to keep crosses. We're supposed to be selling all those to people. But she's one I'm having a really hard time thinking of selling because she's a pet and I really, really like her. So I don't know. We may just end up keeping her. So the sheep are all fed and they're all comfy and warm in their barns while it's pouring rain outside. So we'll close the gates on another rainy episode at Ewetopia Farms. We hope you'll all come back again tomorrow and see what the day will bring. Bye for now.